Dubai International Airport handled 95.2 million passengers last year, the busiest international airport on Earth. The crossroads between East and West, the hub that never sleeps. Then on February 28th, 2026, the runways went silent. 37,000 flights canceled in 10 days. Not because of weather, not because of a mechanical failure, because missiles were falling on the terminal. A British teacher named James watched his Emirates flight to London get cancelled, then rebooked, then cancelled again, then cancelled a third time. He spent 4 nights sleeping in the airport. Others were not waiting. Some expats paid up to $350,000 for private jets just to escape. And here is what they do not want you to know. The UAE has made it illegal to photograph the damage. Share the wrong image, and you face a year in prison. This is not being widely reported. What I am about to show you are 3 betrayals that shattered the Dubai dream in a single week. The promise of safety that turned out to be a fantasy. The airlines that trapped you inside a war zone. And the tourist economy that collapsed overnight while the government said nothing. The first betrayal started with a sound no one expected to hear over Dubai Marina. For 20 years, Dubai sold the world a single idea. Come here, and you're untouchable. The missile defense systems are state-of-the-art. The neutrality is guaranteed. The towers are indestructible. That story ended on February 28, 2026. Iran launched over 700 projectiles toward the United Arab Emirates as part of Operation True Promise 4 in retaliation for United States and Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. The Emirati defense system intercepted roughly 95%, but 5% of 700 is not zero. Drone debris struck Terminal 3 at Dubai International Airport. 4 airport staff were injured. The terminal was evacuated. That same night, the Burj Al Arab, the most photographed hotel on Earth, a global symbol of Dubai's invincibility, caught fire on its outer facade from intercepted drone debris. A berth at Jebel Ali Port burned. An explosion hit the Fairmont Hotel on Palm Jumeirah, injuring 4 more people. At Abu Dhabi's Zayed International Airport, 1 person was killed and 7 were injured. The authorities posted a statement on social media confirming the death. Then they deleted the announcement of a fatality at their own airport. In a matter of days, the United Arab Emirates Attorney General made it a criminal offense to photograph or share images of missile impact sites. The minimum penalty was 1 year in prison. The maximum fine was 200,000 dirhams. In January 2026, Dubai's 827 hotels were running at 86% occupancy. By mid-March, that number had collapsed to between 15 and 20%. The Knowledge and Human Development Authority shut all private schools and extended spring break indefinitely. CBSE board exams were postponed. Parents were told to activate remote learning. The WhatsApp groups that once traded brunch recommendations were now coordinating evacuation routes. But the physical damage was only the first betrayal. What came next was worse, because it was entirely by design. Dubai built its entire economic identity on one thing: connectivity. 95 million passengers in 2025, flights to every continent. Emirates, the crown jewel, serving 140 destinations from a single hub. That hub is now operating on life support. Between February 28 and March 8, aviation data firm Cirium recorded 37,000 canceled flights touching the Gulf region. On March 6th alone, 43% of all scheduled Middle East departures were canceled, and then the international airlines started pulling out, not for days, for months. British Airways canceled all Dubai flights through May 31st. Lufthansa, Swiss, Austrian Airlines, and ITA Airways were gone until May 31st. Eurowings suspended service until October. Air France pulled out through early May. Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, KLM, Finnair, and Virgin Atlantic all suspended for weeks or months. According to Reuters, foreign airlines were restricted to just 1 daily round trip to DXB, until the end of May. One flight per day from airlines that used to operate 6, 8, 10 rotations daily. Emirates itself was running at roughly 60% of its network by early March and reported a 40% drop in passengers for the first quarter. The World Travel and Tourism Council estimated the Gulf was losing $600 million in visitor spending every single day. For residents trying to leave, the math was brutal. Commercial seats were gone, rebooking queues stretched for weeks. Some expats drove 5 hours to Oman just to catch a flight. That trip alone cost over $5,000. Others paid up to $350,000 for private charter flights to Europe. A nurse from Kerala was rebooked 4 times in 1 week. She needed to get home for her mother's surgery. She never made it in time. TUI Group canceled every Dubai package. MSC Cruises pulled every ship from the Gulf within 72 hours. The U.S. State Department issued a Level 3 advisory: reconsider travel to the UAE. The airport that processed 500,000 passengers a day was now processing fear. And while people couldn't get out, the tourists had already stopped coming in. In 2025, Dubai welcomed 19.6 million international visitors. It was a third consecutive record year. The tourism machine was projecting $207 billion in regional revenue for 2026. Hotels were sold out and restaurants had waiting lists. The narrative was unstoppable growth, unlimited demand, a city that had transcended geography. That narrative collapsed in 48 hours. According to the chief business officer at travel platform Wigo, Dubai hotel bookings dropped 60% within 2 days. 5-star properties that had been running at 82% occupancy in January fell below 35% in 2 weeks. Some hotels across the Gulf reported single-digit occupancy. Luxury resorts started slashing rates 20 to 40%. Complimentary upgrades, free dining credits, flexible cancellation policies. The desperation was visible in every booking engine. The regional tourism industry is now projected to contract more than 13% in 2026. Economic analysts estimate the total loss across Gulf states could reach between $34 and $56 billion. One of the hardest hit corridors is Dubai to India, one of the busiest air routes in the world, and the pipeline that feeds tens of thousands of hospitality workers into the emirate. That corridor is now capped at 1 flight per airline per day until at least late May. A restaurant owner in Dubai Marina described what happened to his business in 5 words: 3-week waiting list, then nothing. The government has released no official tourism figures since the crisis began. No hotel occupancy data for February. No updated visitor arrival numbers. No public statement on the scale of the damage. What they did release was a censorship law. The community forums tell a different story. LinkedIn profiles are updating locations from Dubai to London, Singapore, Toronto. Expat Facebook groups that once celebrated the Dubai lifestyle have become evacuation planning boards. This is not a temporary disruption. This is a fundamental repricing of what Dubai is worth when the sky is no longer safe. So what are the people who saw this coming actually doing? They are rerouting. Muscat is still operating flights, and some expats are driving there to connect out. Singapore is processing employment passes in 3 weeks. Istanbul has become the emergency transit hub for anyone reaching Europe without Gulf airspace. For anyone still in Dubai, the playbook is simple. Demand that your employer covers evacuation insurance. Confirm your embassy registration. Watch the airline suspension dates. If British Airways and Lufthansa extend past May, that is your signal. And track the drone incidents. DXB has been hit 3 separate times since February 28th. Each strike resets every airline's risk calculation for coming back. Remember James, the teacher who slept 4 nights in the airport? He eventually got a seat on a Fly Dubai flight to Muscat. From there, he flew to London on Oman Air. He told me he's not going back. He said, "I moved to Dubai because nothing ever happened there. Now I am leaving because everything just did." This is not a temporary disruption. This is a city discovering that glass towers do not stop missiles, that airline routes do not survive war zones, and that 95 million passengers a year means nothing when the airspace closes. Drop your experience in the comments. Every story helps expose what the censorship laws are trying to hide. If you made it out, tell us how. If you are still there, tell us what it is really like. Subscribe if you want the truth about what is happening in the Gulf, because the Dubai they sold you does not exist anymore.